So, when I was deep down in the trenches making my video on why Shane must have been guzzling a full gallon of idiot juice when he was trying to march everyone down to Fort Benning, I stumbled across a blast from the past. A character so forgettable that even the writers at AMC seem to have forgotten him, at least for a time. That's right, folks, I'm talking about the man, the myth, the background character, Morales. Y'all remember him, right? You know, the guy who vanished in Season 1 with his family, and then reappeared seasons later for a whopping 5 minutes? Just long enough to deliver a dramatic monologue before getting instantly smoked? Yup, he was so vitally important to the show's plot that they didn't even bother giving him a first name. He's just Morales, like, that's literally it, he's just fucking Morales. That being said, I just couldn't stop thinking about how mind-numbingly stupid this guy was. At first, we got to see him in Atlanta, clearly doing his part as a member of the team. We even got to see him Lucille a Walker before Lucille was even a concept in the show and even in the comics. They really made this guy seem like he was going to be a part of the cast. And then, out of the blue, this man decides that he wants to separate from the Atlanta group, just so that he could take his small wife and 2 kids to fucking Birmingham, Alabama. And he's doing this just so they could spend time with some family in the area. Oh, and get this, he also had the audacity to claim that he's gotta do what's best for his people.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Now here's why Morales' decision was fantastically stupid. We know the Atlanta group set up camp somewhere on the outskirts of Atlanta. We don't know exactly where, but we know the filming location for the camp was at the West Side Reservoir Park. Nevertheless, we can come up with a rough estimate for how far he'd have to travel, by road, in order to reach Birmingham. If Morales took I-20 eastbound, he'd end up covering a distance of roughly 140 miles. A distance that's literally further from the camp than Fort Benning. Along this path would be a few moderately sized municipalities, like Villa Rice, Temple, Riverside, Oxford, and Moody. Birmingham itself is not a small city. It ain't large either, but it sure as hell wouldn't be a cakewalk. It's rather easy to deduce that there would be traffic jams, hordes on the highway, and potential marauders set up along the route, all looking to ambush suckers like Morales. Yet despite all of this, Homeboy elected to undergo this risky journey with only 1 handgun, half a box of ammunition, and a fucking baseball bat, all while having to hard carry his fairly useless family. And remember, he does all of this in order to meet up with a family that is likely dead or relocated to an unknown location. You know what, he honestly should have just assumed that they were dead or impossible to find by this point, essentially treating them as being functionally dead to him and his immediate family. Morales saw Atlanta get firebombed without warning. He saw the massive horde in Atlanta. He saw how a roaming horde could easily overrun a campsite. And he's been surviving for nearly 2 months prior to leaving for Birmingham. And yes, I looked it up. Apparently Rick starts the story on day 59 of the Walker Apocalypse, which means Morales had been surviving for nearly 2 months. Like, fam, you've been surviving long enough to know the world had already ended. Ain't no fucking way your shitty Alabama family is still alive or still in Birmingham. This dumbass risked it all to chase a ghost and, spoiler alert, he lost it all precisely because he and his family got clapped before they ever even reached Birmingham. Emotional decision-making clearly led to the demise of his wife and 2 children. He should have just stayed with the main group. His family probably would have still died at some point, or probably not. Either way, their odds of survival would have been far better had they stayed with the Atlanta group. And he sure as hell would have had more than just 2 days of time with his family, even if they were destined to die later down the line. Instead, he goes on to survive as a savior, having abandoned his humanity years before his reunion with Rick. Had he gone with the main cast, at least he'd have an actual standard of living at Alexandria, even if he lost his family along the way. Because we all know how shitty the standard of living was with the saviors. If you weren't in the inner circle, you were just a worker ant slaving away for the boss and his friends or lieutenants. Be that as it may, when the show brought this man back, they promoted it like we were going to witness the return of some badass survivor. I mean, just look at this guy. We're supposed to be like, oh shit fam, it's fucking Morales.
No!
Now can we just take a moment to talk about how he fumbled the bag here? He got Ricky Dicky Doodah Grimes at gunpoint, and instead of just dropping him, he goes on to exposition dump like a monologuing comic book villain.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't...
Morales could have easily gone down in the history as the man who killed Rick Grimes or at least severely injured him. Instead, he's the guy who got folded like a cheap lawn chair mid-monologue like some villain of the week in JoJo's Part 3.
Eso es lo que sé, Rick. Espera.
No doubt about it, Morales is legit one of the dumbest motherfuckers on the show. Anyways, if you like this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell as well, that way you'll be notified when I publish a new video. And remember that you may opine anytime if you feel so inclined, down in the comments section. I'm Captain Gold, and I hope to see you in my next Gold Standard video.